Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Talking Retro with CaptNRetro and EmceeMur. Hooray! The podcast is live. It's 2 minutes early today, too. Look at that. Boom. Making it happen. Andy, how has your week been, buddy? How are you doing?
Oh, dodging bullets the size of grapefruits. You know me.
Just like the ones in Goonies? Bullet holes the size of matzo balls.
Yeah.
ORV. Off-road vehicle. That's what they used to call SUVs back in the day. ORVs. Which I think is a better name for a giant truck. So what does SUV stand for?
Sports Utility Vehicle.
Utility, that's right, yeah. Off-road vehicle sounds way more fun. Anyway, today's podcast, we are going to be talking about E3. We had some predictions, and we have some what you want to call it? Just our review of E3, or not necessarily.
Well, this is my recap of it, and a lot of it was what we thought it was going to be. And I realize we're a little late to the party as far as E3 reactions, but I just tend to think mine matter more.
So it takes longer to put them down into words, and
so we saved the best for last. I'm gonna break this down for you in a way it ain't never been broken down. No fluff, no stuff, just the real deal, Holyfield.
No filler, all killer.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, let's get right to it, man. I got nothing going on other than this. That's all I care to talk about too is E3 stuff. I watched everything except for the Nintendo. I have not even gone back and watched Nintendo's. I didn't need to. All of the hype and the
You could have sneezed and missed it. There wasn't a lot going on there, but what was quality, and we'll touch on that.
Right.
And I think that and I don't want to jump to them first because honestly, I'm saving the best for last there too. I think they had more to offer. But Reggie's take on it was that they wanted to be short and to the point, and they didn't want to drag it out senselessly with, and I dig that because in the past, they have dragged it out, and it was with a lot of indie crap filler that I do not get into and does not sell, and it's pointless.
Right.
So I think they were a little more on point this time. I have some general complaints, but we'll get to that. But we're going to start with Microsoft. I think it's the most to talk about there, and not all of it good. And we'll start there, and I'm going to kind of throw some of the bad out first, and then you let me know what you think. And then we're going to get to the good. The biggest bad for me was the failure to address the elephants in the room. And this is the most important thing. No one said a word about the fact that Xbox Live is still a broken gorilla turd and that Windows 10 is a cluster.
They're not going to. Why would they mention
it? We're too worried about a new system that's going to be reliant on these other faculties or whatever the right word is that are inoperable right now. And with no solution to those problems, I mean, and they didn't even have to look at it as it was an existing problem. They could have just said it was improving it or whatever, but we didn't even touch on it. As far as they're concerned, the Xbox One walks on water, and that's bullshit.
I mean,
way too heavy on that.
Keep going. I know you got more to say. Keep going.
I do. They leaned way too heavy on Forza again. Forza is an amazing product, and it's exciting for about 1 week.
It looks great.
Then the trade-ins just start coming. Because a racing game, I mean, I don't want to say it's a tired old genre, but it is. And the only thing that changes are the graphics, and people just don't stay in it for that long. The problem therein being that it's not a system seller, not the one that they think that it is.
No, it's a hardware, but that's about it.
Well, they pandered to everybody by revealing a new car. Not in the game necessarily, or I think it's in the game, but a new car, like a real car. Like, who cares about, what is this smoke and mirrors? Who cares? And they brought out these chicks that were allegedly race car drivers. Yeah, right. Maybe they are. I don't know. The fact is they had to bring girls in a car out to try to hang the veil over our eyes or something. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Okay, we're done. It's like, come on, man. I mean, it's like jangling your keys in front of a baby trying to get his attention. That's what it felt like. It was silly.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain action.
Exactly. And they leaned way too they took time for abstract indie crap. Everyone kind of does. Tacoma, what? Isn't that a Toyota? It was so funny too because the crowd, how quiet it got. I mean, you could hear a pin drop on a gnat's ass when they announced these indie turds. Cuphead, get this out of here, man. Just get it out of here.
Yeah.
I can't stand indie crap. It can have its own E3 if it wants. No one buys indie crap unless it's just really, I mean, every once in a while an indie game hits a home run swing and then it becomes not one anymore, but that's rare. That's like the farm league of video games. Y'all take that to the house. We don't need to waste time on that. It's your time. Don't waste your time on that.
Right.
Horrible name, the Xbox One X, Xbox X, Xbox Sex. You're saying Xbox
almost
Sex.
a palindrome too. It's almost read it backwards and forwards the same way type of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's almost one of
Okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. You're right.
Close. I mean, it's not, but it all in. It still doesn't help the X Bone. It doesn't help that. You know what I mean? Like it does not help people stop calling it the X Bone.
Oh my God. And you know, that sticks now because it had no choice but to. I had just got to where I was okay with what it is now, and they managed to come up with an even worse name. And I'm not trying to be the guy that complains about everything, but that's a terrible name. I literally busted out laughing when I said, this can't be serious. And I realized that, you know, my prediction for them was going to be that they were going to lean way heavy on the new console and its capabilities and not address the elements. And to be fair, that's exactly what they did. I'm excited for 4K resolution and all that, but you're going to have some really good games first for me to give a flying fig. And I'm not going to buy Forza. So, you know, for that reason, they talked a lot about Assassin's Creed Origins, which looks fantastic, but that's Ubisoft. You know, that's not Microsoft. So I can buy that on another system. That doesn't necessarily mean that's a system seller. And then they brought out this Super Lucky's Tale Adventure game or something. It's just another Mario 64 Crash Bandicoot hopeful. And it's like, enough of these games, man. The Ukulele just came out. That was here and gone in 5 minutes. Nothing wrong with it. It's just, this is a tired old genre. And physical copies of games like this, even if they know what they are and have a fair price point, are a tough sell. $10 digital you'd be lucky to get for this game. I mean, I thought that was wasted time too. But that's really all the bad that I have for them. I do have some good things to say about their presentation. I'm going to let you reflect or rebut on any bad that you might have thought from it, but that's where I'm at with it. Those were the things I had a big problem with.
Is it only showing my face on this thing? Is that all people are seeing is just me? Because I definitely need to be seeing you. Especially when you're talking. I'm looking over here. Are y'all only seeing my face while he's talking? Because that is not how it's supposed to be done. I'm over here looking at the computer and looking at nothing. I'm looking over at the podcast on the YouTube thing. I don't know how to fucking work this thing. I'm new here.
Google's a hunk of shit. Every single one of those things is a hunk of refried bull diarrhea. And nobody has to fix it because they don't get paid to fix it. They get paid to breathe.
I hope it's working now.
Even if it's not, you can hear what I have to say. That's more important than my face. My makeup girl didn't show up and I haven't shaved today.
Apparently it's just showing my face, which is not how it's been. I haven't touched one fucking setting since the last time we did this. But apparently it's just my face. That's ridiculous. Shit's broken as fuck. BAF. Broken as fuck. We got some questions here in the comments. Fuego, what's going on? Historic Nerd, how are you doing, buddy? APOC, what's cracking? Has Sony held back at E3 for Sony's own event? Fuego's asking. Do you feel like Sony held back anything?
They did hold back Last of Us 2. I mean, nothing was said about that. I don't know that they did. I felt like all their cards were on the table. They've had some pretty big hitters. I don't know what else they could have shown. And I don't think they have any new hardware because they really don't need any. So my answer to that in short would just be no. Okay. I don't think so.
And number two, how about that Atari console coming out? Any word on the Atari console in your brain? The Atari box or whatever they're calling it?
I don't know anything beyond just that silly little teaser thing. And I know that if it says Atari on it and it's a box, even if it was just a box, it's like put your purchase it. So, But yeah, that's all I know. I don't have any intel on that right now. Definitely want some, and I urge anybody with any to come forth. Very interested in the product, no matter what it is.
Murr, I'm sorry I can't seem to figure out how to show your fucking face on this thing. The cameraman.
You're not missing much as long as you can hear me. But it's always, what's funny to me is the lack of consistency in these things. It's always a new problem that's completely unexplainable. So that just tells me that it's broken. You know, there's no rhyme or reason to it. This isn't our first rodeo with any of this stuff. But everybody else just has a license to suck balls in their companies, businesses, websites, functions, everything. Oh, well, we exist now, so we can just suck balls in perpetuity, and that's okay. No one pays us to make things right. We can move on to the good in the Microsoft, because there was some good. And again, this is all reliant upon the 4K. It really hinges upon this big. That system's got to do what it's supposed to do, or you can go elsewhere for these things. But there was mention of the Black Desert MMORPG. Looks really cool. I've not played Black Desert, but you know, it looks good, and on a 4K system, I think that would be pretty badass to have. But the problem there is they preach this as an exclusivity, and I just don't think it will be. Neverwinter was only on Xbox for a while, and I was excited about that. Now it's on PS4 too, so who cares? Why would I even play this on Xbox now?
Right.
So that almost sounds like a bad thing as a good thing. It's a good thing if they keep it exclusive. I don't think they will. I don't think they can. The 4K Minecraft graphic overlay, that just sounds ridiculous, but it's not. It really looks great. Molly's very excited about it, as you could probably guess. And bringing it to crossplay is wonderful, because that's just something out of fantasies that you can just play with people on other systems. That's really a cool move on their part. So I'm going to give them a big thumbs up on that. And I think I would honestly say that we're going to end up buying the freaking Xbox X just to play Minecraft in 4K. We would do that in this household. We would. Sea of Thieves. I'm a little less interested in Sea of Thieves now, although that is an exclusive. It very much looks like a Rare title, and that's okay. It should. But it very much looked like a freaking Banjo-Kazooie pirate game this time to me, whereas before it seemed so much more intriguing. Now it just seems like it's going to be riddled with fetch quests and be quite boring. I don't know why it looked different to me this time, and I'm still interested, but I don't know. They showed more of it, and I got less excited. That's not a good sign. State of Decay 2. Totally pumped for State of Decay 2. State of Decay 1 looked like a crappy old PS2 game, and that was okay. We knew what it was. It was fun to play. Now you bring a new game on this new system, and if they bring the heat, that's going to be a great exclusive, although I've discussed this at length with Triple J J-Town. He does not think this will be a system seller, and it probably won't be, because you're talking about a game that, you know, State of Decay was on Steam for ages. Another one they pick up late in the game and just say, hey, we have this, you know. And they really harped on Crackdown 3. Terry Crews is in it. That's pretty neat, I guess. Like Terry Crews. And I've been playing Crackdown for many years, man. I've got Crackdown on my Atari ST computer. I mean, Crackdown is no joke. It has more lineage, I think, than people even know.
Right.
If that game has some open world aspect to it, which they almost hinted that it did, and if it has good multiplayer combat, I'd be interested in Crackdown just on the name alone. That will be an exclusive. That is one they can keep reined in there. So to me, that was all the things that looked good. And honestly, a new system, I don't want to buy one, but what it can do for these games is kind of exciting. But that's all the good I've got on Xbox. I mean, honestly, that's not a lot. And I'm not jumping up and down about it. So
we just went to a tunnel warp there. I don't know what
I saw that
thing. I'm trying to share your face. I don't know why I'd have to do that. It's fucking broken. I look like an idiot just sitting here waiting for you to say something. I know that much. But what you're saying is good. I haven't been paying too much attention because I'm trying to figure this other shit out, and I'm over it. I'm over trying to figure it out. So,
well, yeah, you're the radio host. I'm just your guest. We can move on to PlayStation now. I think people probably want to talk Sony more than they do Microsoft. I'm moving up in order.
I tried that on the unhighlighting it. It's not working. I've been highlighting left and right. It's not doing shit. I've never I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just
You know, like I said, it's a new problem. It's a strange problem. It has no explanation. It's one that's never presented itself,
every
and
time
it's doing so.
each other to a thing we have
The
problems.
consistency lies in us. We're doing the same thing over and over again, and it becomes it's the variable.
Yeah.
You know, so that's not my problem. That's for them to fix. If it behaves a different way every time, it must be alive.
Well, I watched Microsoft, I watched Bethesda, I watched Sony. I liked all of them. I mean, to a certain degree, even Microsoft, I was like, they're trying, but then you're right. They were just dangling bullshit carrots in front of your face, and it's all smoke and mirrors to hide the fact that they're not. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know.
And at the end of the day, if any of that's a system seller for me, it won't be for other people. You know, they don't care about 4K Minecraft. They don't care about Crackdown. That's not been a thing.
4K TV. Like, raise your hand if you've got a fucking 4K TV yet.
I don't. I actually don't. I'm always behind on technology because I'm a retro person.
I'm 10 years back on my TV capabilities. And
definitely.
The military grade technology is 10 years ahead of 4K. So where are we at in this world? I'm way behind the times, what I'm saying. PlayStation, I thought Sony did good, man. I liked Sony. I liked Bethesda's probably the best out of those three. Like, they're not even a fucking console maker, but I like their E3.
Well, I'll touch on the bad first with Sony. The bad was short, but it was lengthy too. It was short in that there's only one thing, but it was lengthy in that it was presentation wide. They opened with VR talk, and then they leaned on it the whole time, as if they needed to say that they had this new hardware to maybe compete with the fact that Xbox had new hardware. Nobody cares about VR. Nobody. I mean, nobody. And the people that bought it can say that they do, and that's fine. Even they don't. What are you going to play? Robot golf? Screw this shit. No one wants to hear anything about your VR. You've been barking up that tree since 1990. No one cares. I'm so tired of hearing about it. Even with the introduction of Skyrim VR, you're going to try to get me in it now.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
4K TVs, but fuck them and their 4K TVs.
By the time they fix that, Skyrim will be 10 years old, and being in virtual reality, I'm going to be done. There's just no way. They leaned way too hard on that. But that being said, they had the cooler games to show. You know, Days Gone looked even better than it did last time. I gauged this on the second time you see it. On the next E3, are you still as excited? Are you more excited? I was more excited for Days Gone. Like the way that looked. Monster Hunter World. I'm not a Monster Hunter guy. Recently found that out after playing Final Fantasy Explorers on 3DS and complaining it was the worst steaming piece of buffalo shit I've ever played in my life. And then J-Town says, well, that's Monster Hunter. They just made a Monster Hunter for Final Fantasy. I said, are you kidding me? I had like 3 Monster Hunter games. I've never even played them. You telling me I hate all of them? Time to fire sale. Boring as hell. But people love them for whatever reason. And this game looked good. We'll see what else it does other than look good.
I'm going to send you another invite just in case. See if you can click this link if it comes to you and grab onto it. And
via text?
No, just through the Google Hangouts. What I tried to fucking send it, like through this ad thing. I just put the Murray games, you know, your email there for Gmail, and maybe that's. I mean, when I'm looking at the cameraman over here, it's saying, as guests join, hide their audio and video from my broadcast, and I've got no, that you should be fucking straight up.
All right, well, you're going to lose me for a second. I'll see if I think I've got something.
That's fine. That's fine. I look like an idiot just sitting here smiling away at the camera and not saying anything. I feel like a motard, a mocap retard. I don't know what the smallest screen size at 4K is. Do you know any specs like that? I would say probably like fucking 37 inch is probably the smallest 4K TV you're gonna get. I doubt they make them much smaller than that. I doubt they're smaller than 55 inches to be honest with you.
All right.
Now you're on there again. Now let's see what happens over here. Retro Fakes saying, is VR still a thing? Apparently, people are right up your alley. It is not. Who gives a fuck about VR? I don't give a fuck about VR.
It's not a thing. It's just.
I'm not spending $500 for a fucking helmet so I can play a Batman game that lasts 20 minutes.
If you take anything I ever say to the bank, take that VR is not a thing. It will never be a thing. It's not relevant. They will swear it is. People that paid the money for them will swear it is because they have to validate their purchase. It's not a thing. I will make that guarantee. You have an EmceeMur guarantee. That is going to go the way of the dodo so quick, it'll make your ball hair shrivel. I'm guessing you still can't see me?
I don't know. I don't think so.
All right, but we'll continue because time's a factor here.
Yeah, time's a factor. So,
Shadow of the Colossus. That's kind of exciting, and I'll admit I've never played through that. I have played it. I've never played through it, but it's a great game. It's always one that people have. You know, it's a game that's still selling. People will still come into GameStops and buy that on PS3.
right.
You know, the Eco Collection or whatever. People love that game, so that's a good move, and it looked good.
It's just an HD remaster, right? It's not a sequel.
I don't know. I think this is a new deal. It's hard for me to tell. They didn't really say anything. So, I mean, people that know more about the game might be able to answer that
Well,
better than me if they recognized what they were seeing.
You know, the world is still working on retro. The big thing for Nintendo to me and Bethesda was the Skyrim Switch, you know, that you could play Link in it. And when I saw that, I was like, that's rad. And then somebody was like, yeah, that's been for about a year or two on the PC to play as Link. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not so rad then.
But it is because, you know, PC elitists, man, they live on that. I don't even have a PC that would run Skyrim. And if I did, I would hate to know I had to play that game pecking Q, L, W, and Z buttons on my keyboard. What a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
so you can Google it. You can mod your guy into Mario's Wing Wang, and I wouldn't care because that's just not important to me. Mods are just not a big deal to me. You're talking about modifying a game that to me is perfect. Why would you modify perfection? But, I mean, yeah, Link in the game, that's pretty cool as far as a Nintendo aspect of it. I mean, I can get into that. Sony wanted to make note of the Marvel vs. Capcom demo, and I guess that's playable either now or it will be soon. So anybody that's into that. I mean, it looked pretty cool, but it's kind of a mashup. It's not anything that really gets me too excited. But I know it will get a lot of people excited. A Chun-Li statue with the collector's edition. Yes, please.
You know, it's got was it Sir Henry from is that his name from Ghosts and Goblins?
Arthur.
Sir Arthur, yeah. That looked pretty cool. Marvel vs. Capcom, it's always the same thing, right? It's a fighting game.
And then the new God of War. This is another one that I'm more excited for after seeing more of it. This is it, baby. I mean, God of War was cool. I didn't really get into it. The mindless hack and slash games that legitimately are hack and slash games, they don't hold my attention that long. But this new God of War is going to be amazing. That's just...
Yeah, that looks incredible.
Wow, what they're doing with that. And they closed with Spider-Man. Now, the Activision Spider-Man games are boring as balls to me. They were just not that great. And the proof's in the pudding because the price point tells you what these games are doing. They end up in the toilet. Nobody buys them. They're crap. This game looked phenomenal. The combat was amazing. I mean, Spidey's doing a snapmare takeover with a web around somebody's head while he's heel kicking somebody and a spin wheel in the face over here. I mean, if you can really do all this stuff, if the dynamic is there and the controls are good, this will be the most fun Spider-Man game ever made besides just looking fantastic.
Right. If the fighting mechanic is half as good as Batman Arkham Knight.
Now, it's not fair to sit here, though, and give Sony props on third-party shit, though, if I'm not going to do it for Microsoft. So you can take a few of these out. That's the problem. Capcom stuff, two of the things I said were Capcom, Spider-Man. So you can take the third-party stuff out. You can't really give them credit for that. So when you cut out the fat, you know, God of War and Shadow of the Colossus, there really isn't a lot. So honestly, I don't think Sony had that impressive of a showing if you want to do it that way. They showed stuff I was impressed with, but if it's not their own, I can't give them credit for it because those are things you could have seen in somebody else's E3. And again, I'm not going to do it for Microsoft, so I'm not going to do it for Sony. I'm going to rate them on their stuff exclusively.
All right.
You have to because third-party stuff, in a lot of cases, you can play on both systems. That's only fair. But that's it for me on Sony. I don't know what you think about it, but
again, Sony, only thing I cared about was God of War, and it looked freaking great. Come on, put it out.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. That's the kind of game I like right there.
It looks like they've changed up the play style. It's no longer, I mean, it may be, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like such a linear, structured, you know, go to this side of the room and run over here and go through this door and bust this thing's head open to get through here, and you got your chains going crazy. They look like they took his chains away.
It hinges on creativity. I mean, as long as it's Skyrimish and has some really thoughtful quests, and it's easy for a game like that to appear non-linear and still be linear. So that's kind of a trap. You hope it's not laden with fetch quests and just mindless crap. That's the one thing you can't know until you play. I'd like to think that's not what's going on in a game that long in production, though. I think we got a winner there.
Right.
But on to Nintendo. I think you'll have a lot more to say about Nintendo.
Yeah, again, I didn't even see Nintendo's. I don't need to. All I know is Metroid Prime 4 and fucking Metroid 2 remake, and they're gonna be doing what I want done. And Castlevania.
It's what you want done.
Castlevania is coming too. Now that wasn't mentioned at the E3, but I've been hearing rumors of the new Castlevania, and
we'll make that our first bad thing. There were big things that they didn't mention in their E3. They talked about it 8 hours later in the middle of a treehouse where no one would have caught it. I mean, you got to tell us these things. Don't hide them in there. I'm not going to watch a 10-hour treehouse. You think I got time to hide in a treehouse for 10 hours? What am I, 6?
Somehow I have made my damn window gigantic. And I can't get out of it now. Piece of shit. Fucking computers.
I guess we're just going to need to play around with this at times that it doesn't matter. And we'll just go live and talk about how way our farts smell until we get this perfected or find out it's all about finding what's wrong with what you're using. What's wrong with YouTube? What's wrong with Twitch? How do I get around it? That's my day. I spend my time troubleshooting.
Exactly. You know what? I got out of it now, but like, what did I do to get into that situation?
But it's never what I did. It's always something on their end. It's something that somebody else is getting paid a lot of money to fix, and they don't. I'm not being paid.
It's so angry. I love it.
Well, somebody's getting paid for this, and they're getting insurance, and their fucking kids are eating off of it. You can starve in the street because you don't do your job. I'm doing it for you. You send me your money. Back to Nintendo. I'm sorry. It just burns me up. People that get paid to do a job that they never have to do. They may not even show up. Somebody's in charge of keeping web-based crap in line, fixing sites for people, maintaining functionality, and these sites just go on and again in perpetuity, sucking. Look on any Reddit forum, look on any forum where people talk about this crap, and they'll tell you, these are known issues and nothing's being done about it. It's like Xbox with the Xbox Live. It's an elephant in the room. Just ignore it. We suck and it's okay. People will continue paying us to do it. But the problem is that's true. I mean, we have no power to change it. We just have to figure out what the problem is and figure out a way to work around it on our end.
Bend over and take it is definitely a corporate slogan.
But back to Nintendo, the Yoshi game looked like crap. I'm so tired of Yoshi's Island games. I hated that game. I hated the mechanics. I hate the fact that it looked like a 3-year-old drew it at daycare. I liked absolutely nothing about that game. I don't want to see any more of them. No more Yoshi's woolly balls. No more Yoshi going in and out of a shoebox diorama either. Who the hell asked for this? Too abstract, man. Keep it. I don't want it. I will not be buying that game. I'll buy all first-party Nintendo stuff, but the buck stops here. I will not buy that game. Keep it. Mario plus Rabbids.
Mr. Venegas, thank you for stopping by. Yes, Andy's getting into it, buddy, isn't he? He's going at it. We appreciate y'all sitting around here and watching this stuff. Rabbids and Mario, I could care the fuck less about.
Nobody asked for this. And if it handles like an XCOM game, we'll see. I mean, I may do a review on that because it's soon. That doesn't mean I'm going to be happy about it. It'll mean that I got a free copy through trade hustling. And, I'm not giving it my blessing. I'm just saying we're going to look at it because it's so bizarre.
I think it's the Rabbids did really well on the Wii. I mean, there's a lot of shovelware shit, but that very first Rabbids game blew up like maniacs. That's the reason there was so many sequels and shovelware versions of it. So maybe they're hoping for a little bit of that.
Well, this is like Godzilla falling off a mountain and hitting a train. I mean, I have to look at this. I can't just pretend that's not sitting there. It doesn't mean it's a good thing, though.
Right.
So we're going to – and – also, while we're talking abstract, Mario Odyssey, I hate to say, I was a little less excited for it this time. What am I looking at here? Whose bad acid trip is this? Mario's wearing a sombrero, throwing burritos at a giant tank with eyeballs? I mean, this is just starting to get a little too nutty here. This is nuttier than squirrel turds, buddy. who came up with this? And there's a few nods in there to retro Mario, but it's like, who even needs this? You're just reminding me there's an older Mario game I'd rather be playing.
Right.
So I don't know, man. A lot, and everyone's disagreed with me on that. I think because they just expect and it's insisted upon that a Mario title is just going to be amazing. And in most cases, that's true. Mario 3D World was amazing. Yeah, he turned into a cat. That was new, but it was hilarious. So I was on board with that. Not that Mario in a sombrero is not hilarious, but I don't understand what's going on in this game. It is wackier than I don't know what.
Right.
They're losing me here. I'm trying to stay focused, but it just looks like they got drunk and thought this up. It still looks quality, but it looks like a bad acid trip. And they only did 30 minutes.
Well, I'm sure it'll be an awesome game, though, man. Like that's the difference.
I'm sure it will. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't think that.
Right.
I'm just going to say that I'm lying if I say I'm not less excited now. I am less excited. I didn't like what I saw. 30 minutes for their E3 presentation, and then I got to hear about more Metroid games and stuff later on in a treehouse with a couple of dopes sitting there playing arms with each other. That's the wrong time to announce that, boys and girls. Let's get that out in the dadgum announcement. Sometimes I just, oh my God, I can't get my head around the lack of logistics with these people. But they make the stuff that we love the most, and you just have to accept it. It's like some crazy old man that gets loose from the home or something. They're nuts.
You think
we'll get into the good, though. I know that you're excited for Metroid Prime 4, and I would purchase that too, even though I'm not really a Prime guy. I'm not a Prime guy.
Yeah, I just Nintendo's my jam, and I haven't even watched the whole thing. I did watch like the first couple minutes of it, and something happened, and I had to fucking answer a phone call. Next thing I know, I didn't get back to it, but I will go back and watch their E3 thing just so I could say I did. But
and you'd have to watch 40 hours of Treehouse stuff too, though, because I would tune back in here and there, and there were snippets of things that were like, God, why wasn't this in the? I missed all. You can't watch it all.
Well, it's because Nintendo does their own thing too, and don't they have another one coming up pretty soon?
They do it all year when you get right down to it. If there's a Nintendo Direct, that's what I'm watching that night. I'm always got my finger on the pulse of what they're doing. I think they do a much better job keeping everyone informed about things. Yet when it comes down to something ridiculously important, they'll fail to market that somehow. It's always a really weird imbalance. On one end, everything they do makes so much cosmic sense in the scheme of things. And then they go and do something just insane that's like, what? Wait a minute, what?
And again, I like to let you go over the finer points of the business aspect and the companies that are doing it. You're much more in tune with that, and your reactions are much more in line with someone who is a analyst of the industry. I am much more of a consumer. I barely read anything about shit until I fall in love with it. And when I fall in love with it, I fucking study the fuck out of it. But it has to catch my attention first before I care enough to look up to see what's going on with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I analyze it because I want it to succeed, and I look at it at the point of how will the consumers react to this? Because we went through 3 solid years there of people thinking the Wii U was a Wii attachment. And you're like, now you've got to market. These people are so lost. Please just tell them what this is. You know how many Wii U's I've sold personally just because I believe in the product, but that's me. I don't work for Nintendo. You want to hire me, I'll help you out, but I don't work for you. You've got to market this. It's your product.
Right.
But, again, I want to talk about the good because there was good. Xenoblade 2, they opened with that. Looks phenomenal. I only recently got Xenoblade 1, so...
Yeah, I've got
X on the freaking Wii U.
Yeah, I got on the Wii U. I haven't played it, but I got it.
The new Kirby was tried and true to form. That's what we want. We want true to form. Looks good. I would definitely buy another Kirby game. They don't disappoint. Those are always very fun games. And then there was Metroid Prime 4, and then more DLC for Zelda, which I don't need that game to be any bigger than it is. But if you want to make it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, that game's going to get tremendous. Even bigger. It's going to be 400, 500 hour download. DLC that's 400 more hours of content type of shit is going to happen on that game. I can see it now.
And EA was really just blah 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 Madden, and then this Anthem game, which is pretty much the reason. If you talk to J-Town about it, coming out, this is why Mass Effect was apparently not as great as it should have been because they've been working on this Destiny ripoff. Another freaking microtransaction, got to be married to it, MMO shooter game. And, oh, that really chaps my ass. I don't even know if I want to give money to that. When you compromise, you basically put your C team on a Mass Effect game so that you could put this turd out.
Yeah.
So BioWare's getting the stink eye from me on that. That's really what happened, and it's really looking like that's what happened.
You think we're gonna see another BioShock game anytime soon?
I don't know. I mean, it would sell if they did, but I don't know anything about anything like that being in the works. I was really excited to hear about. And here's another thing about C teams and A teams and B teams, not the A team. Ubisoft bringing out Assassin's Creed Origins. There's a reason that looks as good as it does. This is the Black Flag team. And
yeah.
I'm gonna cite J-Town again, Triple J J-Town. This was his reasoning on it. This is the Black Flag team, and this is gonna work. And everyone's gonna be like, "Oh God, Assassin's Creed is back, baby!" It really never left. These guys have always made good games. Unity sucked because they had their C team on it. They do this stuff, man. When they have to put out a game as many times as they do, and Call of Duty is now very guilty of this. They sub the work out for a game to a bunch of freaking D-level turd burglars, and it comes out into a broken piece of diarrhea.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, this is going to ruin the franchise," and the next year they're like, "Oh, it's back." It's like, no, it didn't left. You just got different people making it. Right. But that being said, Origins, you could almost just bank on being the bomb. It's going to be an amazing freaking game, and I am excited to play it. The only reason I'm bringing these up is EA and Ubisoft having their own E3s. I'm not going to delve much into that.
Well, it had to happen later. They're the biggest. You know what I mean? Like they are console sellers, the games they make. And I hate to say it, but Madden is a console seller, and so is fucking Skyrim, you know? Yeah! Hold on a second. Oh, my God. Talk to the crowd real quick. I got to go help the air conditioning guy real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. But I think that pretty much addresses the big three there. I mean, unfortunately, it seems like there's a lot more bad than good. But if there was a sole prediction we could make out of all of it, it's that's exactly what we were going to be faced with. Because as gamers, we complain a lot. Like angry old people, we just complain a lot. But that's also because we get tired of a lot of the same crap. And a lot of the same, just unscrupulous behaviors from some of the publishers with here, buy this game over again, there's a new car in it, or here's a bunch of DLC that really just fixes the game that was broken the first time we sold it to you. And hey, guess what? The price point is over half the cost of the original game because we're a bunch of jerks. So honestly, we've been groomed to be this whiny, complainy bunch of gamers. Maybe we expect too much, but at the same time, we're so often let down. And to me, that's just what they've got to answer for. If these people want our money, you've got to earn it. You can't sell a turd sandwich to a man that just came out of the Golden Corral. He's full. That's a tough sell, and a lot of this is. So, in closing, I think we've got a lot more to look forward to from Nintendo than anybody, because that stuff just tends to excite. A lot of the other stuff from Sony and Microsoft were things we already knew were coming, and while we may know a little bit more about it now, we already knew of its existence, so it wasn't so earth-shattering that it just appeared. But will Xbox sell this new system? It's tough to say. I mean, the price point is around $500, and am I willing to pay that again just to see games I can buy on a different system in 4K? The answer is probably not, and I might, because I'm the guy that's born every minute, or the one that spends his money frivolously. But most people aren't going to be able to make sense of a purchase like that. And I don't think it'll happen. I mean, they were already having trouble selling systems. People were not lining up to buy the Xbox One. You're going to make another system they're not lining up to buy? That doesn't make sense to me. And Sony's got to get off this VR trip, man. They got to get off of it. It's a novelty. Say it with me. It's a novelty. novelty. That's all it is. It's a freaking novelty, and it's not going to continue. There's not. I mean, how many people do you know that honestly own one? How many people do you know that want one? It's like the state of Wyoming. Have you ever been to Wyoming? Wyoming? It may not exist. So that's all I've got, man. And I'm running out of time here, so
yeah,
I
you
really
gotta
got
go
to bring
to
it to
this.
a close.
The AC man's here. We had the AC shut down here in the bottom half of the house for the last 5 days, so he's here to fix it.
Man, that sucks.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm down in the basement, so it's kind of cool down here at all times, and I got fans, but the living room has been a fucking nightmare. So let me go help him.
I hope I don't upset anybody with how upset that I got on some of these things, but some of the stuff just has to be addressed. Like I was saying while you were out there, a lot of this is just, we complain a lot, but we're also done wrong a lot by the publishers and by the creators of these things. And, they owe us. We don't owe them.
Those people are in the business of making money, and they are trying to do what they think is the best thing they can do for their bottom line. And that needs to be listened to your fucking constituents a lot more than you do. I honestly think that the companies would take a lot more from the fan reaction to things than they do. And there would be a lot more happy fucking gamers out there than there are. So, not to say that there's not a lot of happy gamers. There are a bunch of fucking sheep on this planet that'll just take whatever fucking Call of Duty fucking game you put out and hand it to you and be like, this is what gaming is.
Well, and everybody better get ready on that. And I guess I didn't finish my thought process on that. They've handed this World War II, the one that everyone's been waiting for, off to Sledgehammer that handed us the freaking sledgehammered turd Advanced Warfare. So what's to guarantee that's even going to be worth a crap? Why were they handed a second game? This is definitely a C team Call of Duty. Don't let the graphics pull you in. Everything looks good now. This could literally be the biggest steaming heap of orangutan dung you've ever seen. And people are going to buy it. But boy, you think you've ever heard people bitch about Call of Duty before, you better buckle up, son, because this is going to be a rough one.
Yeah.
They think this is going to save the franchise. The opposite may actually be true. This may do irreparable damage. We've gone from seeing 300 people at a midnight launch for Call of Duty to seeing 50. I mean, it's just...
Place is not doing midnight launches.
It's not going to take a lot for it to just fall on its face. Right. It'll never go away completely. But you got to, I mean, they don't even, and they won't admit it, but the sales numbers in certain games have been much worse. And, they lean on the microtransactions too, which I know people buy, but just the fact that it's gotten to that scummy level of trying to get money out of it like it's a dadgum phone app or something. It's just,
not for me.
Shouldn't be a need for that, man. There shouldn't be a need to have that. This game should stand alone. It should walk on water. So these $60
it should have come with everything that it was going to get.
Yeah.
I
understand the whole season pass aspect if there's really a reason for that, but that created a behavior from a lot of these games simply to just dissect their game. Here, we're going to give you half of it now, and then give me another 60 if you want the other half. And every game that's done that has flopped. They don't learn from the mistakes. You're not going to hustle us. We're not that stupid. I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Your game is going to end up in the $5 bargain bin or not even supported online anymore. It's going to be a coffee cup coaster.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I've got. Thank you, everybody, for listening for my rants and raves, and I will sure have more for you soon.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I'm going to stop sharing your screen real quick, and we're going to sign out to the people who are watching. I do appreciate it so much for you guys tuning in to me and EmceeMur ranting and raving. I got to go help the AC man real quick and make sure that we get some air conditioning back in this house. But we will be back next week. I'm going to too many games this weekend. It's going to be buck wild. I leave here tomorrow to go up to Philly for 3 days, 4 days, whatever the hell it's going to end up being. I don't have a hotel room booked. I got a bucket full of games and a car full of gas, and I'm going to get my ass up there and just have some fun. So
that sounds great. I can't wait to see the footage from that.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of crazy, I'm sure. So, and this will be my first convention to go to actually have a convention, go to a convention just to go to a convention. So
bring me a t-shirt.
It's going to be fucking buck wild. I will, man. And boys and girls, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're going to sign out here and call it a night. So thank y'all for watching.